Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Mrs. Sice. Good morning, everybody.
Well, welcome to Friday's Assembly. The week is going so quickly. It's just flying by. I hope you feel that too, that actually every day in school just seems to go whoosh. Well, anyway, it is a Friday Assembly and we're carrying on with our assemblies on the characteristics of an effective learner. And it's been great that I can see more lovely bronze lanyards around. Let's just have a moment. If you got a lanyard this week, stand up. Oh, well done. Last week's lanyards you should be wearing too. It's really important that you wear yours from last week as well. So there's something to be proud of every time. Let me just spend a moment. What did you get yours for, Lucian?
Changeability.
Changeability. Excellent, Barney. Changeability, we like that. That means that you have made a conscious change to do something differently. That is excellent. Caris? Team ability. Oh, we're going to carry on with team ability. Team ability too. Changeability, excellent. Teachability. I saw that you did a teacher takeover, which is excellent. Can I just ask the two team abilities to come up the front for me, please? If the rest of you would like to just to sit down for a moment. Come up each side, one side each. Okay, can you tell the children in the camera and the children here, what did you get your Team Ability Award for?
I worked well in a team and I helped people when they struggled.
Excellent. So you have really good skills to work as a team. What skills are they that you work with?
Kindness, helpfulness and respect.
Kindful, helpfulness and respect. They're really good team building skills, so excellent. What did you get your Team Ability Award for?
I got my team ability for
So what do you think you do as part of a team that stood out for everybody?
I remember one thing, Miss Jen said that I was the first person to have safe quality.
Okay, but you know, even sitting nicely in your table, in your group, you are showing everyone that you are a good member of the team and trying to show them what to do. So you are saying to the community, I am role modelling what our team should be doing. And that's exactly what a really good quality of team building is. So well done. Thank you very much, girls. Well, over the last couple of weeks, we've looked at team building and we had the story of the watermelon and all the ants working together. And last week we had the story of the frogs where you recognised all the different strengths of the team that you are working with. Well, this week's story is another aspect of team building that I hope we can learn from. And it's a story regarding fleas. Now you may be going, ugh, fleas, horrible, I'm going to itch. Well, hopefully none of us have got fleas. But fleas actually, in history, have had some super magical powers. Two things, there used to be flea circuses. And people believed that fleas could learn tricks or be part of a circus. How true that is, I don't know. But there was always the idea of fleas being in a circus, that they could be trained to do tricks. But they also, in history and in stories, believed to have some magical powers. And it's around these magical powers that we will see about teamwork. A long, long, long time ago, there were two wizards. And these two wizards were known for their absolutely fantastic magic. Nobody knew the secret to the magic. But when they visited a town or a castle or a kingdom, everyone talked about these two wizards. I'm going to call them Bernie and Ed. Wizard Bernie and Wizard Ed. Now, Wizard Bernie and Wizard Ed had never, ever met. They were known by word and mouth for their fantastic magic, but they had never met. Nobody knew the secret to their magic. Then one day, whilst they were travelling, Wizard Bernie and Wizard Ed met for the very first time. They bowed. They bowed again. They eyed each other up. Who was going to be the best wizard, they thought. I'm sure I'm better than you. And they sat and they talked. And they talked about their stories, the time that they had turned beasts into humans and humans into beasts, where they had cured people or built great castles, frozen ponds, flown through the air, and they compared stories. And then Wizard Ed said, "What's your secret?" Wizard Bernie went, "Well, I'll tell you you're mine if you tell me yours." And they both agreed to share. This was unheard of in magic circles. Never, ever should you give away your secrets. But because they were such respected wizards, they agreed to share. And at that point, from behind their backs, they both pulled out a jar. And in the jars, you could see the magic fleas. They both had the same magic because they both used the magic fleas. You could feel the energy inside the jars. The fleas were jumping everywhere, there were sparks of magic coming out, and light and thunderbolts in the jar. You could feel it. They both laughed. Ha 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 ha, because they had both been using the same magic. Well, that night, the two wizards had so enjoyed meeting each other and becoming friends that they stayed out in the woods and made camp. They talked and chatted and laughed right through the night till they were very, very tired. And as they fell asleep, one of the wizards used some magic to put out the fire. They thought they'd put it out, and they fell asleep. But a tiny spark from the fire had been left, and it started to burn some leaves around. And as the fire grew, so it grew towards the jars of the magic fleas. Well, fleas are really intelligent, and they could see what was happening. They could see the fire, and they could see that it was heading towards them. They knew at that point that they had to get out. They all knew that. They all had the same thought at the same time and said, right, we've got to get out. And at that point, they all started jumping about, trying to get out of the jar. But because they were all jumping in different directions, nothing happened. The jar stayed exactly as it was because one jumped this way, one jumped that way, one went down, one went up, and they kept doing this. Until one flea thought, this isn't working, I need to do something about this. And he gathered some of his other flea friends and said, we need to jump together. Ah, they said, we understand. And with that, half a dozen of them, how many's half a dozen?
I think that's 6.
Could you put that into a full sentence?
A half a dozen is 6 because it's half a 12.
Absolutely. And what do we call 12?
A dozen.
And what do we call baker's dozen?
30?
13. Fantastic. Well done. You have a house point for that. So half a dozen fleas started jumping in the same way. And they started shouting to the other fleas, we all have to jump the same way. And as they did, all the fleas started jumping. And with that, the jar fell over and fell open. And they could get out. Well, the other jar of fleas saw what the other jar was doing, and they did the same. One started jumping, and then the other started jumping, and eventually the jar fell over and opened, and they left. And they didn't get burnt or hurt by the fire. Well, the next morning, Wizard Bernie and Wizard Ed woke. The fire had naturally gone out because there were no more leaves, and they went to find their jar of fleas. But it was empty. The fleas had worked together as a team, copying each other, realising it was a good idea, and made their escape. Well, those magic fleas were never ever seen again. Ever. And the wizards, well, they lost their magic. But that was all lost. They had found a really good friendship, and together they made a really good team and went on their way on a new adventure. That's the final story on teamwork. What did you recognise as the strongest part of teamwork in that story? Turn to the person next to you. You've got 1 minute to discuss.
Miss Sam. I think it was the bit when they all jumped.
I think it was when they jumped exactly what I was
I'm actually kind of sad.
And plus, I like how they all became. I really like the teamwork stories. Yeah, I think that was my idea. So, yeah, that was my idea.
And I kind of like the end because the woody playing was also you.
And in 5, quality audience. In 4, good looking. In 3, good listening. In 2, good sitting. In 1, make sure you're facing the speaker. Who is brave enough to come up and talk about what they recognised in the teamwork? I'm going to choose Lily and no, I'm going to choose, I don't know your name. Zion. Sorry, Zion. Come up the front, Lily and Zion. Come and stand here so that everybody can see you there. Come over a bit, come over a bit. All right. Lily, what did you recognise as the strong parts of the teamwork story?
Well, they copied each other, so that means if you copy each other, you're basically helping. If, for example, if someone was stuck in mud and then someone gave them a hand and they helped pull it out, they're basically using teamwork to get themselves out of a problem.
Excellent. Zion, what do you think?
So I thought, how they agree with each other, because some of them are helping I just started to see it was working and they all joined in.
Fantastic. And that's absolutely right. That working together, copying each other is okay. When we're working past the team, it's okay to copy. I know that some children sometimes get upset and go, oh, he's copying me. Well, actually, copying is good because you are looking and recognising that's a really good thing and I want to do the same. And also the agreement as a team is really important. When we recognise it's a good thing to do and we find that agreement, we find strength and we solve problems. So that's really, really important as part of a team. Thank you both very much. Can I just check that both of you can have your pictures taken? Brilliant. So, here we are. Lots of skills that you can show each other about being a good team member and making your team work together. Enjoy, keep working hard as a team, and have a lovely weekend, and I'll see you on Monday morning. Bye.